Have you ever watched a movie that had an idea you really wanted to like, but the execution kept pulling you out of the story? That's pretty much where I am with Butterfly Kisses. Released in 2018, the film is presented as a documentary about a filmmaker, Gavin York. And while the movie has an interesting premise, I had a hard time connecting with the people in it, and especially with the performances. The story centers around Gavin, a struggling filmmaker who discovers a box of many digital video tapes. There's a simple warning on the box: do not watch. Naturally, Gavin watches them. But these tapes weren't recorded in his house. They are connected to Sophia Crane, a filmmaker who was working on her senior thesis film. Sophia's footage goes back to March 3rd, 2004. She believes she's going to die, and what she's documenting is connected to a strange figure known as the Blinking Man. The idea of the Blinking Man is pretty creepy. If you stare at him and somehow manage not to blink, he begins getting closer. He's described as a tall, skinny man in a long black coat and hat. And once you see him, you simply can't unsee him. Every time you blink, he gets a little closer, until eventually he's right in front of you. So the movie creates the strange psychological trap. You know you have to blink, but you're terrified of what might happen when you do. And that's where I think Butterfly Kisses has something interesting to work with. The movie isn't just trying to give you a ghost story, it's playing with the idea of watching something you were never supposed to see, and then question whether you're watching is actually real. That's especially important because Gavin is a filmmaker. He's already struggling to make his own career work, and now he has footage that can completely change his situation. If the footage is real, it's something terrifying. If it's fake, it could still be the thing that gets Gavin noticed. And that creates one of the biggest questions in the film. Is Gavin documenting something he discovered, or is he turning something he found into a movie? Because there are people who don't believe the footage is real. And Gavin has a reason to want people to believe. He's struggling financially. He can't afford the kind of editing that would normally take $10,000 to $10,000 to create, and he's working with a much smaller budget. So the found footage could be more than evidence. It could be his way into the film industry. But this is also where the movie started losing me. For a film like this to work, I need to believe the people I'm watching. I need the documentary format to disappear for a while so that I can become invested in what they're experiencing. Instead, I kept thinking about the performances. Most of the actors didn't work for me. The one exception was the man connected to a weird world. His performance felt more natural to me, and he was the one person I found myself actually wanting to watch. And that's the problem, because the entire movie depends on the illusion that we're watching something real. The more I noticed the acting, the less effective the illusion became. Even some of the filmmaking choices worked against that authenticity for me. The sound effects and the cleanup made parts of that footage feel constructed rather than discovered. And once I started noticing these things, the psychological tension weakened. That's ultimately my problem with Butterfly Kisses. I think there's a good ideal buried inside this movie. The Blinking Man, or the Blink Man, is a creepy concept that found footage setup has potential. And the question of whether Gavin is documenting the truth or exploiting it for his career could have made for a really interesting psychological story. But for me, the execution never made me believe in it enough. And when a movie is asking me to question what's real, the last thing I want to be questioning is whether I'm watching a convincing performance. That's my take on Butterfly Kisses. It was an interesting premise, but for me, the movie never fully earns the reality it's asking me to believe in. But what did you think of Butterfly Kisses? Do you think the found footage did what it was trying to do in the film? Or did you have the same feelings I did, that you just were not convinced of anything or anyone that was taking place within the movie? I would love to hear your thoughts, so let me know in your comments. And until next time, I'm Nikki. This is the Fractured Lens HQ. Please have a good morning, a good afternoon, or a good evening. It all depends on where you are. Ciao.